Fighting games are supposed to be fun, right? We boot up and want to win or climb our way through the ranks, but that's not the only way to have fun with fighting games. Because of this obsession on ranked and winning, most people stop having fun. If you're not winning, you're not having fun. If you're not climbing, you're not having fun. And that's a toxic mentality to have. I'd even say it's the wrong one to have. You forgot why you got into fighting games in the first place. Because they're fun to play and learn. When getting into a new game, what's the first thing we do? We look for the tutorial mode, ready to learn how to play the game. Learning is where we start, and somehow we forget that real quick. Instead, it turns into, well, I learned how to play the game, so I gotta start winning now. If you haven't noticed, fighting games are hard to learn. They take time and a lot of reflection and practice to do well. But instead, people just want to rush to winning, and that's where they forgot where you start. Learning is the goal. Winning isn't everything. Winning is a result of doing what you learned well. It's like people mixed up the order where instead of focusing on learning so they can win more, they think if you win, you must have learned. As if winning means you know how to play the game. Yeah, no. If you lost to a random player online, you know you can scam wins sometimes. That doesn't mean you know how to play the game well. Conversely, if you lose, the blame game that happens is insane. So now that you've focused on winning and you lost, it's now the game's fault? The game isn't the one that's supposed to learn. You are. You're supposed to learn how to work around your opponent, how to adjust and evade. But because people have the wrong mindset from the start, the blame game starts. Let's slow down and realize we just have the wrong mindset here. It's not about winning, it's about learning. Learning what you can and can't do, learning new tech or new ideas, learning what you can and cannot get away with. Speaking of, what happened to being the degenerate? To being the spammer, to being the jumper, to being the zoner? Sometimes the simplest answer is the right one, and it's putting the ball in your opponent's court and seeing if they can figure it out. Other times, some moves are just fun to do. Every grappler player knows they're in it for the big grab. SPD that eats like 50% of someone's health bar and you feel really good doing it. Do it, however many times you can get away with it, because it's fun. Playing optimally shouldn't be the immediate goal. When you start playing, you have to figure out just the basics of what your character can even do. Watching pro matches and trying to do the best combos is not where we begin. We begin with, how the hell do I hit my opponent? Everyone needs to remember that at the start, you should play ultra basic. Rushing to play optimally is like trying to build your own house when you don't even know how to assemble a couch from IKEA. What the hell are you doing? Make it a challenge instead. Instead of trying to do the best punish counter you can see how many tatami mats you can drop on someone's forehead, how many shimmies you can do. As you build challenges around the things you've learned and learning progressively, you'll have a much better time. Everyone has a main, their favorite character that they want to put time into and win with. Here's the thing, maining could be robbing you from having fun. Now hear me out, I'm not saying it's bad to have a favorite character or just wanting to play a specific character the most because you find them the most fun to play. However, that inherently means you're not exploring or diversifying your experience. For some people, they choose a main and they don't want to play anyone else, and that's where you rob yourself. Different characters demand to be played in different ways and have different play styles and different skill sets they require from the player. Your perspective of the game changes since you have to view each matchup, each interaction, completely differently, given your toolset is completely different. It's almost like hitting the reset button on your skill set. Even in a game you know well, switching characters means you have to start with the basics again. You're a beginner again. Compare that to your main, where you know what you're supposed to do and what your tactics are. Being a beginner is fun, especially in a game you already know. It doesn't feel like you're starting from zero, but rather at a basic level, and you watch yourself grow very quickly. Feeling that growth is really good, but if you cripple yourself only ever wanting to play your main, you'll never experience that. It's also a way of learning how to fight those other characters. Playing other characters teaches you, through direct experience, what their weaknesses are, which, going back to your main, means you have even more knowledge as to how to fight them. And didn't you want to win more with your main? Fun is super subjective, and though there are a lot of ways to have fun, one may work for you, but it may not work for somebody else. and those ways will change over time as well. At the beginning, maybe you just stick to your main and have plenty of fun, not caring about the other characters. And later, once things get kind of stale, you start to explore other characters. That's just how it goes. Stay open-minded and don't trap yourself in a box. This channel is about sticking to the fun aspects of fighting games and not taking them super seriously. For us casuals, we're here to mess around with some cool characters in a cool-ass game. We don't necessarily aspire to be the best or play optimally all the time, but as long as we're having fun, then we're doing it right. So check out the channel, keeping it casual.